Absolutely. Well, let's go ahead and jump into our draft here of game number 3. We know these guys love to just blaze through that first phase, so let's just see what happens. It's going to be the first phase ban this time on Timbersaw and
Dire
Spirit
team
Breaker from
pick.
Wildcard. They do not want to deal with them. They go back, removing the Shadow Demon and Bat Rider once again
Radiant
on
team
SKG,
pick.
and this
Techies.
leaves in the Techies. So that will be grabbed overall first, as it has been removed in both games.
I mean, that feels so nice from the side of Sand King Gomez. They've been having to go for these witch doctors, um, these sort of like off
10
the beaten
seconds
path
remaining.
supports a little bit, but now they just get the solid, the best, the techies
Remaining.
in either the 4 or the 5, wherever they
Radiant
want to
team
put it.
pick.
So I'm sure they're really pleased about that.
Beastmaster.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the Beastmaster pick here once again. I mean, it didn't exactly work out, which was a little bit unfortunate,
team
but I don't think it was necessarily a bad pick. So they go with Skywrath this time around. So just a lot more heavy damage to follow up these roars. So they want to make sure that when they get this roar off, they will be able to follow it up with that Mystic Flare, pretty much find these kills guaranteed. I like this a lot.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, kind of similar opening from last game where you pick Beastmaster, you pick a very
5
solid 4
seconds
to be in the
remaining.
lane with it. Are they gonna
Dire
pick the
team
Dusa?
back.
I like this a lot. Tanking Gomez's draft so far is chef's kiss for me. They pick a really
Radiant
nice,
team
solid
back.
safe laner, and this is the problem with picking your off lane just straight off the bat, right? Is it becomes very choreographed for Tanking Gomez to pick their one early on,
Dire
and
team
when it
back.
comes to picking one position heroes, Medusa, I mean that's kind of the hero to get, right? We talked about the Terrorblade last game, but in the current patch, you take Medusa every day of the week. So
Yeah,
really
Medusa on
solid
8 is
opening.
super strong.
Yeah.
Super strong hero to grab on 8. And into Beastmaster Skywrath, they don't have a ton
10
to bully her out of the lane.
Radiant
Um,
team ban.
a nice rotation from like a 5 that can portal in is probably enough to find early kills on this hero, but it
I
takes a
would
lot to whittle through this hero's mana.
I would really like to see something really defensive as a 5 and put Takis on the 4 coming out from Sacking Gomez. Because like you said, a
10
Beastmaster
seconds
Skywrath
remaining.
Rage, just one rotation coming from the Twin Gate or coming from the mid lane is more than
5
enough to kind of
seconds
burst through this
remaining.
Medusa. So something that can play defensive behind it and try to keep some sustain going for the Medusa might be really helpful. And it makes me think of heroes like
Dire
Pugna
team
or
back.
something like that, just to give a little bit of drain. I guess he isn't a mana battery early enough. Maybe a Coddle would be interesting. Well, you'd have a Coddle 5, so that would be a little strange, but
They
things like
did
this.
nerf the Medusa slightly. So
True.
they did nerf the Mystic Snake mana gain, so you don't get as much out of that in the lane,
10
or obviously as the
seconds
game goes on. So it's not as much sustain from this hero. It's
5
basically
seconds
obviously your
remaining.
mana is her health pool essentially. I don't know. I'm curious what they end up wanting to do here. I think you need a 5 that can really keep this Medusa alive if you decide to put it into the safe lane, because you could flex this. I mean, seeing that Anti-Mage
True.
and the Morphling are moved, we could just see Medusa
Radiant
techies off
team
lane,
ban.
and this is like this
Radiant
is
team
your off
pick.
lane you have to play into,
Dire
which I'm
team
okay
pick.
with. They'll grab the Pango. Great pick here. Bloodseeker is in the pool, and it's great into Beastmaster and Pango.
Let's
I
see it.
think
Let's
you
run
take
it.
Medusa off lane with
Let's
the
run it.
techies, and you pick your safe lane combo here, and you grab yourself a Bloodseeker.
Yeah, what do you think about like a CM Bloodseeker right here?
10
Doesn't seem
seconds
kinda dope.
remaining.
CM's pretty good. I'm trying to think what other 5s. Lich
5
just feels
seconds
like better
remaining.
CM right
Yeah.
now, to be honest.
Yeah, and I feel like CM might have trouble trading into the sky. She might just die to Beast Skywrath.
You could go Ench.
Yeah, you could go Inch.
Dire team pick. Radiant
Okay, instead they'll pick up the mid lane counter.
There's the Pugna that I was talking about.
Ooh, I mean, you're right. I like this hero a lot.
And so you have 2 mana batteries, right? You get to refill a Storm,
Yeah.
you get to refill the Medusa. Pugna's gonna be draining all day long.
10 seconds remaining.
Dude, that's my favorite thing in the world. They did
Yeah, he's
nerf
queuing up the young
heal
lane, the
quite a
blade.
bit, though.
He's draining all day long. And he's
They
gonna be up-
nerfed the heal a pretty sizable amount, 40 at the first level. So just in being a support, like this is pretty rough, because you're not going to have that XP to get to like level 3 where it's only like a difference of 20. But yeah, 20, 30, or it goes 40, 30, and 20 on the reduction at
10
each level for the
seconds
heal.
remaining.
So a pretty sizable nerf to the early levels
5
here.
seconds remaining.
Yeah, true. And they go for the Faceless Void, which, I mean, once again, you could go for the Venomancer isn't quite as good this game. Because I'm still kind of comfortable laning the Dusa safe lane so far. Because you have decent sustain from the Pugna.
Yeah.
And since you see Faceless Void, it's going to just be a 5-position last pick from Wildcard, right? Like, that's kind of all they have.
It could be. I'm still okay with them putting the Medusa into the off lane. I don't think it's bad into the Faceless Void here. But yeah, Wildcard just need a 5 to play her at the Faceless Void.
Yeah, I guess like when I think of Faceless Void, things that Faceless Void is good against, I think of things that are like very obvious to time lock off. And Medusa has Mystic Snake, right? So you like tank a Mystic Snake, you bounce it off.
Yeah.
Maybe it's too much if it's a
5
Dusa techies. There's just like too much stuff flying at you, but
You could honestly go for a Venomancer here.
yeah. I mean,
But then
anything
you're
that's
really
that damage over
lacking-
time.
Yeah. Underlord is one of those heroes that like is somewhat pickable. He's kind of disappeared from the meta, I think a little bit, as he did get nerfed several times in a row. But
Radiant team
we'll
back.
see. Oh, Tide Hunter. That would have been a great pick. That just is impossible for the Faceless Void lane to play into. Yeah, okay. So they're anticipating probably an offlane melee hero that can play well into the Faceless Void. I think that's probably the safe bet.
I mean,
Question is,
there
who's
is
it gonna
still
be,
a
though?
Bloodseeker.
10 seconds remain. Radiant
An
team
axe.
pick.
Axe.
That's a good one. It still
Yeah, I
has a
don't mind
damage
it.
over time. Does well.
Yeah, and you have a lot of follow-up damage from the supports, right? Because one of the issues with Axe is you can blink call or get a call off or whatever, but you kind of just like run out of damage. But with a Pugna, with a
10
techies behind you, with a
seconds
connection
remaining.
from the Storm Spirit, once they get into that timing, there's a lot of
5
follow-up
seconds remaining.
for these Axe calls. So I don't mind it at all.
Enchantress.
You may now select
This is sick.
heroes.
Yeah. The Ench is really rough for Axe to play into. Like, this is one
Yeah.
of the worst supports you can play into as an Axe. Because if you want a lane cut, you're like, okay, it's fine, I'll lane cut. But you're going to be tanking Impetus. And she eventually just, like, has Enchant. And there's nothing you can do to get away from her. So this is going to be a lot of damage.
To be fair, in the mid game, there's a lot of magical burst to just rip through this Enchantress, right?
True. Absolutely.
But yeah, I'm worried about this lane for the Axe, definitely. It's
We'll see.
yeah, I see the idea, but
I think the game matchup's not that bad here for San King Gomez. Like, this Axe, if it manages to find this Faceless Void, this Faceless Void is almost guaranteed to go down. They have no saves, really. Right? No Undying Tombstone, no Disruption, no Abaddon. Like, none of these, no Oracle. All these heroes that you would like to pair the Faceless Void to guarantee that you can get a good chrono and turn a fight just aren't there. And so an early Orchid from Storm Spirit or just Axe's Blink Dagger Blade Mail is probably enough to kill this Faceless Void. So he's gonna have to play a very careful game. Probably get an early Manta style, or maybe even like a Lincoln's if he doesn't want to go for a BKB.
yeah, and the damage into chrono is kind of limited. Like, you have Skywrath Mage, but then your other cores, you kind of only have Swashbuckle and maybe a round of Axes, right? So you definitely run out of damage that you can pour into the Chronosphere kind of extraneously. A lot of the damage is going to have to come from this Faceless Void, and like you said, if he has to play really defensive, itemize kind of defensively, you might never have that damage if he's forced to go for a Manta,
Prepare for battle.
BKB, Lincolns, all these sort of like random defensive items.
What
I don't think he has to, but go that far. We'll see.
Should be an exciting game, though. Mid lane, I would definitely say, gonna favor the Storm Spirit here. This matchup into the Pango is pretty rough for Pangolier.
And
Like, Pango
Fearless-
doesn't... Oh, go ahead.
His Storm Spirit's his second most played hero, according to Dodo.
Yeah.
So
he is
ready.
Grandmaster. This guy plays a lot of Storm. So we'll see if RCY can hold his own here in this lane. Pango is one of those heroes that doesn't really get crushed in a lot of matchups just because of how Shield Crash and Swashbuckle work, right? He has a lot of mobility, good spell spam for clearing waves and securing CS, but Storm Spirit's a rough one.
30 seconds. to
Yeah,
battle.
they're kind of similar heroes in the way, right? Is that they really like to play up in your face in lane and try to trade with these kind of like intimate melee spells, like Static Remnant, Shield Crash, like you said. And then also both can retreat back and clear stacks. So for Pangolier, he can always just kind of like rotate out of lane, maybe set up a stack for himself or two, or like try to bounce in between these side camps in the lane to try to maintain farm with
The
this
battle
potentially rough
begins.
matchup in the Storm Spirit.
All right, nice. They managed to grab themselves 3 runes on Wildcard here to start this one off. No early first bloods this time around, at least at the moment. Doesn't
Yeah,
look like
so
that's
far,
going to happen.
it's a team that has gotten first blood on their carry that's won, so now we're going in
Ooh.
completely even. The cards are on the table. It's up in the air. No first blood sort of gods determining the fate of this game today.
Yeah, at least not yet. We'll see. There's
Not yet.
still moments as we're going to head into the lanes. Sunlight's going to take a lot of harassment in this bottom lane from the techies, as well as just that battle hunger spam. So that will be a little bit annoying. But it will give space for Sammy to just kind of farm on this Faceless Void. He does have a decent amount of damage.
Yeah, and if 9... Oh,
Sunlight?
the blood
Oh
grenade?
my god.
What a hero. What
Yeah.
a hero. There's a reason this hero was first banned. And like you said, like the Axe might have a rough matchup into the Enchantress, but if Nine's able to just keep this inch bullied away from lane, then it allows Axe to really just take advantage of the nice matchup into the Faceless Void.
Yeah.
Get up in his
They did
face,
force
spam
a
the battle
lot of
hungers.
regen.
What do you feel like lane has the most kill threat here going into the early game?
It's got to be bottom. Like any
Yeah.
lane with techies has so much kill threat. Unless someone gets like a solo kill mid, it's gonna come off of Fearless hitting level 3 and getting the Vortex, I think. But it's got to be bottom. Like any lane that has a techies in it just has so much kill potential.
Yeah, and just turning his damage onto both heroes, it feels like none of them are safe from these annoying little right clicks, the sticky bombs flying out from this godforsaken hero.
Yeah. This hero just has way too much damage. They nerf his like attack speed or something in this patch instead of like his actual damage or starting damage or something. This hero coming to lane with like 60 damage is just so insane.
Yeah, it's kind of strange, right? You have this like 4 position buying a circlet to begin with, just for damage.
Good old
Curious.
universal
Oh,
heroes.
there's the jump in.
9 just ends up going a little bit too far there and dives underneath the tower, giving first blood over to Sunlight. And, you know, happens to get a Harpy Storm Crafter. So those 3 little chain lightnings that he gets out of this one are pretty sick.
Yeah, I think the chain lightning actually got the last hit on that too.
Yeah, it was, for sure. We'll get one more here onto Lund before it dies.
It's
which
so much damage. Crazy.
super
great.
value.
All right, alleviate a little bit of the pressure down here for Sammy Boy on this Faceless Void, who isn't having as big as a free farm as he had the last 2 games. And it's a bit of a problem, right? Because it's a bit harder of a carry game for him than it has been the last 2. Feels like with the Jug, with the TA, you have very clear timings that head into the early objectives. But with the Faceless Void, you kind of care all about the team fights. And if you're not able to find these Chronospheres or find the damage into them, they'll start to struggle.
I'm curious what they're going to do. This Axe does need to respect the damage that they have.
Yeah.
If Sammy gets a bash here, could die. He does have this Ring of Protect or Ring of Health. He's going to be going for that Vanguard, of course. Just a classic Axe item to get him, you know, scaling in his farm.
Yeah, you'd go it even before the Vanguard was meta. This is an Axe build as old as time.
But top lane, they're actually getting a good amount of damage into this Medusa. She's losing a
Kinda
lot of mana here. It does
struggling.
have 12 wand charges, though. Yeah, struggling in CS actually pretty heavily.
Yeah.
So that is good news for the wildcard team. It's got 3 stacks of axes here. Monster does not have them coming off cooldown, so.
Sammy Boy.
Oh boy, that is a big kill.
That's
The
huge.
jump in there with the blast
there a
off
trade?
finds it.
Last
Eh,
tower
should
hit.
be.
Oh, the impetus.
Yeah. So really nice kill. Sunlight's gonna get himself a double kill here with his summon.
Nice.
So he is level 4 now on the
Nice,
5
huge.
position Enchantress. He is very strong.
This support can scale too. You get this
Radiant
this
structures
hero with
are
Dragonlance and Orchid, something like that, a little bit of a Solar Crust, some drums.
Dire's top tower
You know, this
is
hero
under
starts
attack.
walloping.
Who needs a Faceless Void carry when you have a carry Enchantress, you know?
Exactly. Sunlight might just be saying, just chrono them, Sammy boy. I'll do the damage. Don't even worry about it.
Oh, nice pick off
Oh,
pop.
huge
Beautifully
kill.
done. Ends up dying to the Nether Ward, which is quite funny. That was good. Nice find there. 9 trying to chase for Flea, but does not get him.
Yeah, I think they would have
Um,
liked the kill to go into Leonidas's pocket, but pick what you can get.
You know, he might have thrown the axes to deny himself the kill to the Medusa. I think that's actually what happened.
Yeah.
One thing I was going to say, though, is you're getting on this, like pointing out something that is actually really important. We didn't think they had a lot of damage to throw into Chronosphere, but with a scaling Enchantress, you definitely do. In bottom lane, a call comes out. Sammy stuck under the tower. Does time walk off some of the damage, and they do manage to find the kill at the end of the day. But Sammy
Dire's top tower is under attack.
barely surviving there. As
Oh, the boss
9,
up.
the jump in. He's got him from downtown, baby. Oh, no.
All right. Yeah, this bottom lane's an absolute bloodbath.
Mid lane. Oh, RCY gets level 6 first, and Storm Spirit.
Oh,
He's not going to be able to time it up in time, so he's dead.
Once again, the same thing happened last game, right? RCY was just slightly ahead in the levels and able to punish off the rotation from Flea.
Yeah, that's super sick.
What need have I for invisit?
Yeah, very big, especially because we considered this maybe to be an unfavorable matchup for the Pango. So the fact that he's able to get a solo kill off of it, it's huge.
Please.
Yeah,
I guess not
early
a solo
defusal is
kill.
going to do wonders.
Yeah, it's the reason you picked this hero into Medusa, right? Is with for the defusal swashbuckle.
Yeah, it's also just really good into like low mana heroes like Axe. Like this is a hero that does really rely on mana to find kills. Between Berserker's Call and Culling Blade, like a single swashbuckle makes it so he can almost not do a combo. So it is definitely a really important item in general.
It feels like in all the death and destruction this bottom lane, the big winner is this Enchantress.
Oh yeah.
Denied.
Sunlight
3
is
points
feasting.
emphasis. Yeah, having a great game. And she'll be able to just sit bottom because Sammy's going to get this Midas and then, you know, leave for the jungle. That's
Yeah.
going to be his game plan. So Sunlight will be able to stay here and does not really care all too much about this Vanguard.
in
And
trouble.
Nice double bash from Sammy. They're going to turn
Oh,
around
they're
onto
turning.
Sunlight here.
It's a huge kill.
Nine's got plenty of damage. Yeah, that is nicely done. Getting that kill spree as well onto
That's
Axe.
so much gold.
Tons of gold.
Oh my god, an insane amount of gold. As even Nameless is here as well. I mean, if Medusa's able to just stick in lane,
Dire's
she'll
middle
eventually
tower is under attack.
start getting items her way. Oh, I see
RCY? He is in a little bit too aggressive. Never mind the silence turnaround from Flea. One
Oh,
quick
the
stun there
Vassalina.
from the... it's just not enough. He almost gets him with a Rolling Thunder. But nice little play there from both teams, actually.
Yeah, there's just one more point in Ancient Seal. You can obviously understand why he's only level 4, but close call. Speaking of close, Linda's close to death. The Impetus finds him.
Sammy's dead, though.
Alright.
Prints in your backside.
I mean, that's worth it, right?
I feel like it has to be. Slowing down this Midas is super important. Like, you don't want this Faceless Void to just be able to go farm for the next, like, 20 minutes in the jungle with a Midas.
Yeah, and getting gold into your Storm Spirit, like, he kind of has to start rotating, getting these kills.
Yeah,
Start
solo
escalating
XP as
this
well
game.
for him. You got a lot of XP for that.
True. I mean, it is another kill going into this Enchantress.
Dude, and just level 6. Oh my gosh, they're looking for the chrono here.
Whoa.
They're gonna do it. I think they have the damage to the silence from Ancient Seal here.
Where are you
Yeah,
going?
they got him.
Yeah,
Nice
this time
little
it's-
punish.
This time he has 2 points in the Ancient Seal, so it's a long enough duration silence to net the kill. Yeah, I feel like he probably hung around a bit too long there. On Fearless. Leonidas is going for a Dragon Lance. That's unusual, right? Like, you don't usually see this here
Dire's
on
top
Medusa.
tower is under attack.
It's a little bit, yeah. I would say a little bit uncommon, just because it doesn't provide you a lot of like good stats anymore. But in terms of
Yes.
its scaling, it's pretty decent because you can go for the Hurricane Pike, which does provide a decent chunk of mana. Axe, I think. Oh, I was gonna say he might
The
live, but with the
Axe.
concussive blast, they
Oh.
got him.
Is there a turnaround? The Ancient Seal.
RCY is just chunking 9, and now with the
They
Rolling
will land.
Thunder, RCY, I think he's gonna stick around. Yeah, with the help
Yeah.
of Sammy, they got this Pugna as well. This Ancient Creep stack is doing some serious work, and Fearless wants to try and clean this up. We'll see if he can. Haste Rune will be bottom. He will grab it on the Storm Spirit. Not wanting to give this one up to the Bango.
This Axe is suffering. Not having a good time so far. Feels like he's just died like twice, 3 times in a row. He's 2, 4, and 2. And there's definitely a point where he stops being tanky, right? If he gets too far behind.
Yeah. I mean, Axe with Blink Blade Mail is still just an entirely, like, different monster. Like, he is so scary with just those items. Just because, you know, it's a classic stop hitting yourself build.
Right.
You know, the more damage you do, the worse you are against an Axe. I learned that the hard way when I was playing a core Broodmother recently, and I had like 400 damage. And, you know, I'd pop Insatiable Hunger and still die in a quarter second, so that was cool.
Yeah, it sounds like you weren't mad about that at all.
Yeah, it was very cool. Sunlight, 4 points impetus with a
The
stomp there from the
Centaur.
Conquer. Lund wants
Is
to
there a
continue the chase here, though.
reinitiation? Mine's thinking about it. I think he just wants the creeps, to be honest. It's like, there's such a big creep wave here. Please let me get it.
Yeah. All right, yeah, Lund is chilling. He's actually pretty farm. He's not really struggling all that much. The biggest problem you have is the fact that this Enchantress is super farm. Like, she is going to be scaling. Oh, the
There's
Medusa,
no mana,
the
Mystic
roar.
Flare. Is there a follow-up to
needs-
Rolling Thunder?
Yeah, there it is.
Radiant structures.
R.I.P.
Dire's
Dude, that was just all damage from Flea. Like, you just Concussive Blast, Ancient Seals, Mystic Flares the Medusa, and her entire health pool is just gone.
Yeah, I think there's some diffusal action going there, too, to get rid of some mana. RCY is in more action.
Yeah, mid lane, he was trying to finish off the Pugna,
Blast
but
off lands!
they turn around onto him instead. Fearless able to walk away as well. Nameless with that Decrepit Pride, trying to keep himself alive here with this life drain, and it's
He's trying
working
to
for the
live.
moment, but Flea will finish him off. So nice 1-for-1 trade, but overall big wins for SKG here. Lund's
Yeah,
got the
yeah.
blink.
Trade is definitely worth it. Monsters rotate to the mid lane, so it looks like they're going to get the push on for this mid-tier 1 tower.
Oh, the Hawk, though. They see the Axe. He's got his blink dagger. They're like, all right, maybe we shouldn't push this tower.
Yeah, there's no RCY there either, so team fight's a little lacking in case one breaks out.
Yeah.
I feel like they need a smoke on this Beastmaster or something. I feel like he's
I'm going
playing
to
very
try and-
aggressive in this jungle.
Oh, my God. This Hawk is so valuable. See all the TPs into the mid lane, the 4-hero smoke,
Rough.
Radiant are scanning.
and Monster is positioning himself on the high ground there, maybe to break it. Instead, they're going to head bottom, and I think Sammy should sniff this one out.
Dire are
Yeah,
scanning.
he's heading deep into the trees here. Really good movement here from Wildcard as they smoke themselves, looking for a hero. They do see Fearless. Flea needs to get in range for the Ancient Seal. He does.
Radiant's
Question is, can they
Mystic
polish it
Flare.
up?
attack.
Yeah, there's not enough follow-up. A little too far away.
Dire's structures.
Need
know
this
about
blink
that
on
Hawk
RCY.
now.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Salmon Boy's about to have his Maelstrom too, and that's his damage timing, right? Having the Midas, having the Maelstrom, he's gonna start suddenly doing a lot of damage in these
Radiant's
Chronospheres.
bottom tower
He
is
doesn't
under
have to show up
attack.
yet. He could chill and wait for his BKB timing as well, or whatever defensive item he wants to go for. But if a fight like lands in his laps, he's gonna start having impact.
Yeah, exactly. I think he kind of wants to farm towards his team, but he does not want to actually like fight if he doesn't have to. Like,
Right.
him having like Maelstrom and a Midas is just going to allow him to kind of outpace this Medusa and become a serious late game threat. And I think that's what they're playing for at the moment. Mid lane though, Axe does get caught out. They are going to go for the life drain to try and keep him alive here as RCY,
a lot of
with the help of the
sustain.
supports, is just so much damage. And
Yeah, impetus.
Nameless nearly kills himself in the process, has to stop channeling. They will find the kill there onto the Axe at the end of the day.
Your stories
And
have gone
Sunlight
stale
heads up
and-
onto the high ground here, finds 9.
Oh,
We'll have to
helpful
pop the reactive
mana. What's gonna
taser.
stop
Under
him?
attack.
Dude, this Enchantress is a serious problem.
Yeah, it's just like Axe was just sitting there saying, "When will the
fallen.
pain stop?" And it just never did. I mean, it felt like Sunlight beat into him for like 5 seconds, and he's still at full mana. That's what happened.
Yes. Haha.
Radiant's top tower.
And the
is under
timing.
attack.
So Leonidas, he didn't go for the Dragonlance. He went for the Mana
Yeah.
style instead. That's
I
good.
saw that. Forgot to point it out. Yeah, I think this is like the build he needs to go. I think if you don't go Manta this game, you're just gonna die to this Skywrath +1 over and
A
over.
little something extra.
He's going for the Scotty next. Do you feel that's better than a Butterfly Rush here?
I think the stats are going to be super useful. I don't know how you survive in this game without just raw stats, because at the end of the day, you are just going to get chronoed Mystic Flared.
Yeah.
So I like, yes, Butterfly will help him, but that's only going to help him against the damage from this Faceless Void. He's going to eventually need just a lot of HP and a lot of mana to try and survive these initiations.
Yeah, and there's not really a
Dyer's top
save
tower is
from
under
this
attack.
Mystic Flare damage on the side of Sanking Gomez from one of the supports. Like, the save is physical, right? So,
Yeah. Dude, they have such good vision on
There's a
Wildcard that they
call.
played here. Look at this ward.
oh, it's ambitious. It's not working out.
The Rolling Thunder.
Oh, he's trapped.
He's taking a lot of damage from the axe here. Oh, he gets another spin.
All
Dude,
right.
he got so many counter helixes there. Oh my goodness.
If they had follow-up, they probably would have been a kill, but he kind of just blinked alone. No one really
Yeah.
behind him. He's queuing up the Dragonlance again. Huh? He's determined.
It is a little bit more of a farming build. Like, being able to play from further back as well is always nice, as opposed to, like, that little bit of range might make it a little bit more difficult for that Faceless Void to find that perfect chrono, or for that Skywrath Mage or Beastmaster to close the gap. But yeah, it is going to still be kind of rough. Top lane, they're looking for the wraparound here. They get the silence on the
Seal.
Storm Spirit. Pugna trying to just give them the good siphon there, and
Nice
they will
to
do enough
Tripify.
to keep him alive.
Radiant's
But yeah,
Yeah,
look
you
at the
had to
vision.
stop
They've had
them.
this ward. It's doing wonders.
True. Yeah, it does stop that
they
impetus
lose.
damage. If Sunlight was just able to wail into him, he wouldn't be alive.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, I guess a Hurricane Pike on this Dusa could get you out of a Mystic Flare, maybe. I don't know if you
Yeah.
reward or chronoed or anything. But... Very early
Hmm.
Roche attempt. Can they?
Dire are
I
scanning.
guess they can do it.
They can definitely do it with
Mango.
Sammy.
Sammy was here now.
Yeah. They can definitely do it with Faceless Void. They have plenty of attack speed bonuses. And they've got the Vlad's aura from the Helm of the Dominator, so...
Well, this
Well done.
game is looking rough for the side of Sanking Gomez.
Has fallen to the
Anyone
Radiant.
grab an Aegis? There it is. RCY will grab it.
In
Yeah,
that,
5k
what
gold
I
lead
can
here.
do is
You have this
now.
really strong Medusa. I think a lot of this is going to come off of the Axe Blade Mail timing, which he's still about 550 gold away. But if he gets this and finds good pickoffs, like,
Radiant's
it's
bottom tower
all you have to do is
under
blink
attack.
Paul this Faceless Void, and this hero is dead. So
Yeah.
that is going to be
Dire's top
super
tower is
scary to
under
deal
attack.
with.
We've seen Sanking Gomez dodge and hit their timings from this position before, so I think it's going to be middle.
Yeah,
Radiant's
nice
bottom
play
tower
there from
is under
RCY. Picks up an early roll-up shard here, so he can chain stun this, you know, these heroes for the follow-up with the Skywrath Mage. It's really smart. Get themselves both kills in the process.
Yeah, Pugno's just draining and praying there.
Top lane, they get the tier 2 thanks to the push there with that Thunderhide, and now they look for mid. Ooh,
RCY
they find
finds-
the techies. Nice call on the backside
Oh,
there
very
from
nice. Is
this
there any
axe,
follow-up?
but he needs follow-up. He needs more damage. The roar, they're just going to turn around and kill him instead. Without the techies blast off and his damage, you don't have anybody that can do anything.
It's like when I play Axe, I blink in with no teammates, I die.
Yeah,
It's
he needs the
rough
blade
out there.
mail, man. If he has blade mail, it's fine. Yeah, that's a kill.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, I just Sanking Gomez, they can't be taking fights right now. The timing from Wildcard is just way too strong.
Yeah, it
Like you
really
said,
is.
They need this blade mail. They need, I mean, they want the Scotty on Dusa. I mean, they might force the issue before that. Oh, they
They are
finally
looking
Orchid.
for him.
Dire's middle tower
Oh
is
boy,
under
please.
I don't think they have the control.
Dire's
Yeah,
middle tower has
on dilation.
Yeah, bottom lane. I mean, Fearless still has no mana to play with.
He has
Yeah,
no
he's,
mana,
he just
no
TP's down
TP.
here on Monster. He has some Techie's Mines here, which will do a lot of damage. Does he get chronoed? He does. Sammy will not let you TP on out of here. And that is an easy pick off for the Faceless Void. And top lane, they're looking for the Axe again. They don't even have to commit Mystic Flare. They will just be able to continue to chase him down, and they get themselves 2 big kills across the map.
Leading all over the map, Sanking Gomez. This is not the dodging that I was hoping or expecting for to try to get them back to the game. Instead, the lead is just continuing to snowball here for Wildcard Gaming, and it's exactly what we want off of a first Aegis, right? Your Faceless Void doesn't get Aegis, right? He's just farming, but even still, he's able to just Chrono with Storm Spirit, get a free kill, middle lane. RCY is just getting another kill, able to play so aggressive with his Aegis timing.
RTY is
And-
absolutely bonkers on this hero.
Yeah, and now the net worth lead is 12k in the favor of Wildcard. And
It's about to get a lot worse. Like you're losing your last tier 2 tower, your Tormentor is up, and your Wisdom Rune is spawning. I don't think Wildcard is going to leave this section of the map at the moment, so they should be able to just play for the Tormentor or for the Wisdom Rune. And I think SKG have to make a stand here. Like, you have your Blink Blade Mail. If you're going to try for anything, this is it.
yeah,
The problem is, Tormentor's already gone.
if you lose all the map here, you're never getting it back, I don't think. Because Wildcard
too
Gaming,
late.
with this much of a lead, they're not in a rush, right? They can just make the map super small, keep Sanking Gomez in their base, and then just once the second Aegis comes around, bada bing, bada boom, you're pushing high ground.
Yeah, and Sammy has his Manta style. Like we were saying, like you're gonna need that to deal with an early Orchid from the Storm,
Yeah.
which he did get, but now you have no kill threat onto this Faceless Void, and the only real hope you have of killing him is this Blink Calls from the Axe and the follow-up from the Techies. Like, both of them will have to be there.
It's great optimization from Sammy Boy. You go your farming item, you go your damage item, you go your survivability item. It's carry optimization 101 here from this Faceless Void.
Yep, mid lane. They're looking for Monster. They get the Orchid. The Blink Call comes out from the Axe. The damage should be there. They're trying to find it, and they do. No Culling Blade coming out from the Axe, though, so he does not get that bonus armor. And RCY wants to jump in. A Swashbuckle from downtown does set up this fight as Nameless gets absolutely shredded. Sunlight helps find more as now they're getting on top of the Storm. He is running low on resources. Has a Haste Rune, though. And that will get him out of dodge. Meanwhile, the Blink Call from the Axe. Does he get the Orchid? He does. RCY is in so much trouble. That is the call. The dunk does come through with an Aegis. You need to back away. And Lund will TP home. He's safe. Fearless grabs 3 bounty runes. Gonna clear up this creep wave. He's
out of mana.
He's out, I think. Yeah, nice use of the wand TP. Very good.
All right. Bit of gold going the way of Sanking Gomez. Their 2 supports were absolutely deleted off the face of the earth, but what can you do?
Yeah, it happens, you know. But yeah, definitely some good kills, and finding those 3 bounty runes will help out his whole team. And it is space, as Leonidas does now have his Eye of Scotty. So this is at least a nice pickup. Gives him the AoE healing reduction on his target, but also just more stats to try and survive some of the burst damage here from Wildcard.
Yeah, it's all about the tankiness. I guess Butterfly is next on the menu for this Medusa.
I feel like it has to be. Like, it's either that or the Hurricane Pike, and
Right.
then the Butterfly, but yeah, I think either is fine.
Yeah, I think you kind of solve like both of your issues, right? You survive Mystic Flare with the stats, you survive the Impetus and have Faceless Void damage with your Butterfly.
Yeah, I think because of the Enchantress, you probably have to go Butterfly.
Yeah,
This hero is doing so much damage.
I agree. And I think it's going to be another late game sort of timing coming out from Sanking Gomez as we talk. Oh.
Very quick reactions on the bottle runes there. I'm surprised he didn't go for the Vortex onto the Pango, but
Yeah, I think he knew that Lee and Sunlight were right behind him. Didn't want to get caught in the silence.
yeah. no BKB quite yet. Does not want to risk it, and he's closing in on it. He's about 1,600 gold away. It's not super close, but he will get there.
Yeah, we talked about during the draft whether Sanking Gomez was gonna play for a later timing, and I mean at this point they've been kind of volunteered into it.
Yeah,
And that's where they're gonna
absolutely.
have to. They're gonna have to. It's what they're gonna have to do. Try to get a sort of Ags or something on the Storm Spirit. Get the Dusa super farmed. Storm Spirit's on the run. Roar? Nope.
Oh, so close. Very, very, very close on that smoke. Almost connecting. That was just a good read by Wildcard, knowing he was going to be down there.
Yeah. But this time you're going late game into a Faceless Void, and this is kind of like the king of the late game, right?
Yeah, the Time Man does some funky late game shenanigans for sure. I do love the fact that he's going for the diffuser. I think this item is super underrated in general. Top lane, they do manage to find another kill there onto Axe, so he is just having a real rough go at things. But the diffuser, or disperser, diffusal upgrade is the disperser.
I like Diffuser. That could be a good name.
Yeah, disperser is super good. This item, it gives you a lot of different options. The first one, obviously, the dispel onto yourself, and then the quick haste that you can provide. But also very good at finding kills. You get a lot more damage out of this item.
Yeah, and it's extra value into that Medusa, right?
Dire's bottom tower is under
Especially with your Manta, because even once your illusions are dishing out the mana burn as well. I like it.
Good stuff, good stuff.
Went for the BKB as well as the Manta style. I guess just doesn't want to get decrypt, basically. You can always decrypt defensively.
are scanning.
Oh, yeah,
Another real big kill this time onto the Storm Spirit. Committing the roar for this, absolutely worth it. These are deaths you can't really afford.
Nah, I know.
So, yeah, very good patience there from Wildcard. Just one of the downsides of SKG right now, just being choked into their base. Like, anyone who leaves is just likely to die to, you know, any of these heroes, really. Like, you get stunned once and you're just going to get blown up by Skywrath Mage or Chantress or...
You think
anything like that.
Wildcard are waiting this this Roshan till daytime to get Axe?
Well, it's only second Roche, right?
Oh, you're right, you're right.
So they'll get cheese, but it being on Radiant side is nice, but I think they might just take it so that they can get the third Roche up sooner. I don't think
Yeah.
they want to give SKG any more space. Like, they're doing a good enough job at closing this game out, it seems. That's the blink pickup now for Monster, so these roars going to be even easier for him to land.
Yeah, and this is kind of where they go high ground, right? Looking in the game. They get the Aegis onto Sammy Boy this time instead of RCY. Sammy's hit his item timing. He has everything he wants, and
Your Shan has fallen to the
it's going to be time to knock high ground here for Wildcard, and they're going to try to take a fight beforehand.
I mean, they just go right into bottom. RCY does find Lund, but they manage to catch him off the diffusal anyway. Sets up the roar into the Rolling Thunder. Mystic Flare with the chain stuns. More than enough damage. Just one more auto attack from Monster to secure the kill. As RCY is just looking for more.
Yeah.
So, open for the the classic bonus kill scenario, but doesn't find it.
There's a buyback onto this
Radiant's
Axe, but
middle tower is under attack.
and it's going to be necessary if you want to hold, right? The kind of solution here for Sanking Gomez is a big blink call into a Stone Gaze into the follow-up from Pugna as well as the Techies. Dishing out the
That would be
damage.
huge, right? Going high ground against SKG is definitely scary if this Axe is alive. So, if they can force his buyback, it would be fantastic. As of
It's
right
only
now,
10 seconds, so and they have Fortify. This
Yeah,
is it.
they're
They're
gonna
going.
chill.
Blast
I mean,
off.
they might
First
just love
life.
Sammy. They do? Okay, that's big.
Okay.
Fearless needs to get back to base. BKB still available, but of course, with Axe respawning, your high ground push might be over.
That's so big. What a nice kill for Sanking
Radiant's
Gomez.
courier has been killed.
High ground push is scary, man. They got a lot of damage just with, like, even being as far behind as they are. The burst potential is there.
All right, we have a pause from Wildcard Gaming. They're gonna say what was that? We went up, we lost Aegis, now we're leaving again. We're supposed to be winning this game.
All right, well, We'll see what they can do here on the side of SKG, if they can keep this game a little bit more competitive and keep themselves in it. I mean, the Medusa is very farmed. She did go back for the butterfly like we talked about. At this point, the question is what her next item is going to be. And that one I'm having a little bit of trouble with because you have the options of going more damage, which would be something like a Daedalus.
I think
or,
that's the move.
yeah,
Either
or you have to tank up some more. So I don't know
Well,
which
a
one you
Satanic?
do.
I think you have no damage.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Satanic because you really want mana, and Satanic just doesn't give it to you. I think Scythe of Ice might be the play.
Yeah, I can see it. It's really good against Faceless Void, right?
Yeah, it just gives you another stun to play with.
Mhm. And he didn't
other than
itemize
that-
into a Lincoln's, right? Because this BKB could have very easily been a Lincoln's instead, but he went for the BKB instead, and so yeah, it'll be really awkward if they go Scythe and it makes Wildcard cores like go back for something like a Lincoln's.
Yeah, Scythe is just super value. It has great stats nowadays too.
Yeah,
So,
especially for the Medusa hero.
yeah. But we'll see. Holding his thoughts for now. You could always go for like a Blink Dagger if you're wanting to like try and just game them and dodge out Chronospheres if you think you got the quick fingers.
I don't think it's necessary, but my worry is that it doesn't make you survivable enough if you do get caught. Like
Yeah.
you're putting a lot of onus on you being able to blink dodge it.
Yeah. Ideally, at this point, all you really want to do is just survive the Chronosphere and turn the fight.
Yeah.
So, we could... Oh, you could go Aghanim Scepter. It's not a bad Ags game. Ags gives you a little bit of everything, plus the Mystic Snake Stone form to just, like, harass heroes that come up onto the high ground or something is pretty good.
It's good high ground defense, but I feel like it's like kind of playing to lose a little bit. Like you're playing to defend. Oh, the BKB barely lives.
Woo! Fearless gets out. I mean, that's going to be his first BKB usage, but much better than dying, as he just, doesn't go down there. He does queue up the Hurricane Pike, which I think I like a lot. We were talking about this item early on. Just gives you good mana and good stats, a little bit of mobility. Really nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, and it's pretty cheap. It's a nice little clean build up before you head into your next big item.
Yeah. I really like the fact that he's holding on to a Greater Healing Lotus. I'm assuming he's going to try and get another one of these bad boys.
Have you ever seen a greater cheese or whatever it's called? Big block of...
The block of cheese?
Yeah, big
Yeah,
boy of cheese.
I've built it like 4 or 5 times, I think.
I don't think I've ever seen it in a pro game.
Yeah. I feel like I've seen it once. I think I saw Nouns do it. But I literally won a game off of a block of cheese. It was actually pretty nuts. Was it worth it? I don't know. Maybe we wouldn't have like gotten to the point where we were like almost losing if we had just like used the Lotuses earlier in the game, but
Yeah,
it's pretty pog.
Sometimes you gotta play just to get a block of cheese.
Yeah, it's worth
Win or
playing for the
lose.
meme
Dire's
sometimes.
top tower is under attack.
Tormentors are back up here, so that free shard will do wonders. SKG have not been able to pick this one up, though, as they have lost it every single time. They're going to smoke instead and head down bottom.
Leonidas is
just
going the
desperately
Dammy.
farming
The
that
Dammy
axe.
route.
Is he? Okay, MKB.
MKB. Yeah.
Dire's top tower is under
And hasn't
attack.
committed to it, so might change his mind.
I don't hate this, as you do have like a halberd on this Beastmaster, but yeah, MKB is just good damage. Does really shut down this Faceless Void if he decides to go for a butterfly of his own.
Yeah, and you do kind of have physical damage issues on the side of Sanking Gummas, right? All your supports are all magic damage, your Axe doesn't do any damage, your Storm does like a little bit of damage. It's a bit of mix of both. And so ensuring that you have the sort of physical damage front covered
I'm over here.
is important.
I'm over here.
I guess their save for Chronosphere is really just going to be this Pugna. Like, that's actually just what it is. Like, he's going to just do his best to try and keep this Medusa alive in a Chronosphere. And if you don't find the Pugna on the backside, it's actually pretty sick.
Yeah, and you can see he's
This-
itemizing for it too. He's going Glimmer, Aetherlens, Blink. He's like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna sit all the way back so I can blink and ensure I get a Dick Wrap on the right target.
I mean, the Glimmer is so good, just reducing the amount of damage you take from the life drain, also just hiding your hero.
Yeah.
They will finally grab themselves their Tormentor. And it goes to Nameless. Okay, not the most useful, unfortunately.
No, it's
As
kind
I
of
don't
bad.
think you really care about the mana drain off the Death Ward. It's going to be used almost exclusively to save your allies. But I guess increasing the cast range on Nether Ward is not bad.
Yeah, it's like a
I think Techie Shard would be fantastic. Being able to reactive Taser your Medusa in the Chronosphere. Ooh, that'd be good.
yeah, it would be nuts. It's like it's actually like so bad that they didn't get it on Techies instead of Pugna. But what can you do?
Yeah, it's just the
RNG
way
game.
Dota goes sometimes, you know. Mjolnir finished up on the Faceless Void as he decided to go that route as opposed to finishing up that Disperser, but he's almost got that Disperser. What are we at on the other heroes? RCY now has a Skull Basher completed. So just constant stuns coming out from that Swashbuckle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really bad for a Storm, right? Because some random bash from
Absolutely.
Swashbuckle could make the difference between living and dying.
I will say this game has just been a steady pace here for Wildcard. They're just pulling further and further ahead.
Yeah, and this is what their early lead grants them. They get so much map control off that first Aegis, and they're able just to make the map as small as humanly possible for the side of Sand King Gomez, so they're always getting a gold advantage, and no matter how many Aegises it takes to go high ground, they're eventually going to do it with a big enough gold lead. Especially with this Faceless Void just being such a late game dominator, like we said.
Yeah. Oh, Flea got Shield of the Scion. There we go. From his Tormentor. That's always a good one.
I actually really like playing Skywrath Mage with Ags, Shard, and then +1 Arcane Bolt for cast. Because then you're like doing double of everything. You're doing triple of your Arcane Bolt. You start building up armor and then really quickly. It's kind of hype.
Yeah. Flea just decided to go straight for a Scythe of Ice, though. So this is sick. Like this, we were talking about getting a Scythe potentially on the side of SKG for the Medusa or something. But he's picked one up this early on a support Skywrath Mage. He is more farmed than this offlane Axe. This guy has no, both supports are. He is nothing.
Yeah, this Axe has really struggled, and he's going for a Crimson Guard, but I don't know if that's like good enough, really. Like a lot of the damage coming out from Wildcard Gaming goes through this Crimson Guard. There's a lot of magic damage. Samson has a Mjolnir, which does, you know, magic damage as well, so not sure how much value you're going to get out of that net worth.
He has not found much this game. He had a lot of deaths here in this mid game. He has 9 deaths right now.
Yeah.
It's a rough one. Observer pointing out the Disperser finally done here on this Faceless Void. Big fan of this item as he queues up the Orchid to Bloodthorn. I think this is also going to be really useful. Techie is going to get caught here as the Orchid, and just that damage from Sunlight is going to easily clear this one up. Nameless. Gonna chase after him.
Oh, he
You
finds
bonk him on the
trees.
side, and he is gone. That is going to be the gem getting tossed back the other way as well. So this is huge. They didn't see the gem.
They have one already, so.
Oh, well. You will send the
the Techie's
courier out to
courier.
fish it. Yeah, he's got
They
it.
get it. Huzzah.
Saving Private Gem. Success. Storm Spirit. TP.
That was spooky.
That Hex. If Flea was an inch closer, gets that Hex.
Playing on the edge here from the Storm Spirit. And he has the Axe, so his
Yeah.
kind of late game team fight potential is here.
Yeah, that's what he was. That's the whole reason he TP bottom was for this. That being said, Leonidas, he gets chronoed. Sam caught him on just the edge. The question is, will he have the follow-up?
The roar.
Monsters here. The roar's got
There's
him.
so much
Medusa
disabled. The Mystic
is
Flare.
dead. That is a very sick play and a really good call. You do have the buyback, of course, on the Medusa, but you do not want to get forced to use it. And Sammy will go back for the MKB now, realizing that Butterfly was causing just too many problems.
Yeah, I mean, he sustained a lot of damage coming out from the initial Chrono, but you know, you have a Chrono or Roar, it eventually becomes enough disable. Dish out the damage. Medusa is going for the Swift Blink. We're gonna see if she gets enough net worth if she's forced to buy back.
I like the Swift Blink here. I think it is pretty smart. Like, it will just give you that extra mobility that this hero does need. One goes in, Blink Call, finds the Beastmaster. The question is, do you have the follow-up damage? There's going to be the nice Vortex in, but the Storm, he gets caught from the Hex. Can they finish him off? Fearless gets the BKB. He's safe for the moment, but a lot committed from SKG. Monster still got a cheese.
Yeah, both BKB charges used from the axe as well as the Storm Spirit, and they weren't able to find enough damage. It was a nice call because he even got the Ancient Creep that Monster had as well into that call, but not enough follow-up.
Yeah, it's looking rough.
Yeah, the damage from these supports have just fallen off. Like, they're not doing enough damage at this point in the game.
Yeah, this Enchantress is super scary, man. Oh my goodness. Level 19, gets himself a Grove Bow, has an Orchid completed.
Yeah, it's crazy how farm she is. Even beating out the Storm Spirit now.
Yeah.
All of Sand King Gomez's hopes and dreams on the back of this Medusa right now. Which, you know, once again, they go high ground, but they didn't force any buybacks. They didn't claim a tower.
There's Aegis number 3 with the refresher, so it's a lot of mana from the Faceless Void, but double Chrono is unbelievably strong. You just save that for your second life if you need it. So this is going to be really good. Also has a Ninja Gear, so you can just stay smoked until he finds his target, basically. This is looking like the beginning of the end here for SKG. They're going to need some Hail Mary of a high ground defense here to try and keep themselves in this game.
Yeah, and this is the late game Faceless Void that is super scary. You get 2 Chronos with a refresher, you're backtracking 20% of all the damage, you just dish out an insane amount of damage, you have 3 damage items on you, as well as an Aegis. It doesn't get scarier than this. Sanky Gomez are gonna have to Hail Mary something, as there's 2 heroes on top of each other. He's looking for the Chrono, only finds Lund.
I mean, plenty of damage. Why not? That's an easy pick off. And they're looking for more R2I on the backside, trying to get his eyes on Nameless, but it's going to be a roar eventually. Yeah, that is going to be plenty of damage thanks to the Skywrath Mage showing up. R2I up onto the high ground with the Rolling Thunder, now looking for 9. They just continue the chase one after the other, ends up finding Medusa on the other side.
He
takes a ton of mines, but Sammy has that Chronosphere available if he wants to pop that refresher and instead decides against it. He'll just save it.
Alright, nice Vortex.
Nice Vortex, the follow-up, but it's just not really there. The Medusa just gets disarmed, and 9, trying to hobble away with the reactive taser, will be able to survive, and they can keep playing this game, but you gotta find a kill at some point.
Yeah, just 33k net worth difference, now 34k. Gonna climb even higher with every Rax that falls, and yeah, the item differentiation is just too much. You can get all the pretty initiations in the world, but there's no damage, no one's gonna die, and Wildcard, they can just reset this next lane.
It's the XP difference, too, is just super, super difficult to deal with. Like, your supports are level 14 versus Wildcard, right? Where it's like, this Skywrath Mage is level 20. So is the Enchantress. They're both level 20. Like, that is an unbelievable difference when it comes to damage and just general tankiness. So it has just become a huge problem.
Yeah, and now when it comes to itemization, it's like, what more is Leonidas expected to build? Like, is it Rapier time? Even if he has it, like, that same fight could have happened, and with Leonidas as, oh, there's a catch.
Axe BKBs, he needs to blink. He's got it up in 1, but keeps getting grabbed, and swashbuckle on through. He is dead.
Bashes from RCY setting up the kill. Yeah, I mean, even if you imagine that last fight, except Leonidas had Rapier, he's still just disarmed, sitting there. It's like nothing actually changes.
Yeah, I actually don't know what he does. Like, he has to just sit back with his Swift Blink and wait for a blink call into Vortex and, like you said, Stone Gaze, and just try and do as much damage as you can. I think at that point, that's when you realize you either need to go Sheep Stick or you need to go Daedalus. I don't think you can go any other item at this point. I would prefer Daedalus. I think he has to be able to just do damage. Top lane, Sam just gets a free melee barracks. Now looking at the range, just crushes right through it.
Dire's top barracks has
One lane of
I mean, at
barracks
this point,
remaining. Axe still dead.
Why wouldn't you just go the Divine instead of the Daedalus?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, 2 Axes down. I think that's probably the play.
Yeah, it's a queued up.
It's just more of like, you're not going to get the Divine before this last push is my concern. Top lane, there it is. Chronosphere instantly takes down Techies. The call off the mark, and the Medusa losing health and fast. The Hex comes out as well. She is dead. We'll have the buyback. Everyone coming back into this fight here from SKG. 4 buybacks spent. They're looking for more. Can they finish off Sammy? He's still got an Aegis for 40 seconds. You got to find something here. The United's aggressive blink forward. Does get a Stone Gaze. They find the Enchantress, but can they finish him off? London's falling low. They get the kill, but Sammy chasing for more, still has this Aegis, still has a refresher. He's going to have himself a second Chronosphere when he comes up. And that Medusa is looking like some tasty food. Runs on over, takes off Nameless. He actually just didn't pop the refresher.
Yeah.
But he's chasing for more. He gets called right outside the base, and Lund just getting crushed. The swashbuckle on over. Medusa falling low as well. Can he make his way into the base? He can. Great Vortex there from Fearless. And Sammy's falling low, but there's the refresher finally comes through. And he will be able to grab the Medusa. A dieback indeed. Lund unable to get the call to follow it up. And with 3 heroes dead, no buybacks, Fearless, he's got to make some big miracles happen here. But instead, he gets roared and dunked on instead. He's going to buy back himself, look for something here, and it might just be an early death. I'm not sure where he's going. Good Vortex here, but a good stun from RCY. Instead, the call follow-up from Lund. It's not enough. The damage is too overwhelming as SKG die back on all 5, and Wildcard will grab the series 2-1.
That's going to be it. Yeah, wow. Sankey Gomez, they held on for a long time, but for majority of this game, it felt from the first Aegis timing that Wildcard was able to claim, the entire game was just in their control, and they just kind of had to wait it out until, the high ground kind of came to them.